another link, but I'm like, oh, here we go. Right, guys, hang on. Here we are live. Sorry for the delay. This was trying to set itself up for some reason, but let's add my special guest and good friend of mine, Douglas Horn. There we go. We are sorted. Hopefully, nothing ends up happening. So we shall see. But anyway, Doug, first and foremost, I will ask how you're doing, both away from football and after the emotional, mental ending to the Man City game yesterday.
Well, hello, Michael. Thank you very much for having me again. Yeah, I'm not too bad. My voice has been a little bit. I've been in meetings all day, so I've kind of just tried to not talk as much as possible because obviously we were meant to be doing this at 12, but yeah, let's just not speak about yesterday. Really, really disappointing end to the game, but no, looking forward to. I say that through gritted teeth. Looking forward to Wednesday, but knowing the fact that you guys are still unbeaten, yeah, we'll see what happens. But no, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be back on.
No, thanks very much for coming on. For those who don't know, basically we did this before the reverse game at Anfield, didn't we? And we'll briefly mention that in a moment. I'll just quickly go through some of the comments. Got the usual suspects: Paul, John, and Mr. Boom Jingles, which is always, I still love that name. It's one of the best names I've heard. Jimmy, I believe his name is. Think there's a Brobby witch hunt brewing. Well, let's just say from our perspective, we are probably going to be wanting to target Liverpool's right-hand side because I believe you don't have a right back for Wednesday. So unless there's someone we don't know about that has emerged through the academy or is someone who's come back from injury.
Yeah, Sunderland targeting our right-hand side, I think, is an understatement of the century. Yeah, we don't have.
So you don't have anyone there then currently for this game?
No. As far as I'm aware, Curtis Jones and Endo seem to be the ones that seem to be going at right back at the moment. So, yeah. Look, obviously you can have injuries. You can definitely have injuries, but yeah, our right hand side has been decimated with injuries. And then what happened with Szoboszlai yesterday? So yeah, look, it's going to be a tough game anyway. You know, the Stadium of Light. It's so good to, as I said, it's so good to have the Stadium of Light back in the Premier League. I said that in the last preview we did. I fully expect a really, really hostile atmosphere on Wednesday.
Fair enough. I'm just quickly going through more of the comments. Carl saying we want Harry Wilson. Yeah, well, I wouldn't have minded it. I wouldn't have minded it in January actually. John says Liverpool are shit. We should probably get at them, especially on the right with Bradley, Frimpong, Szoboszlai out. Can I just go point out, mate, going forward, they're absolutely not wank because they've only got Ekitike and Gakpo. I know Gakpo apparently isn't as highly rated, and also Mo Salah. So yeah, I think going defensively maybe, but going forward, they're definitely not. So we'll wait and see. But look, I know you say you didn't want to talk about the end of yesterday's game, but I'm just going to briefly mention it because obviously the one thing that does impact this game is Szoboszlai got sent off for basically tugging at Haaland's shirt, which is technically designed a goal-scoring opportunity, but then Haaland tugged his shirt back, which then the ball went in the back of the net, which then got disallowed and everything else. It was, I can imagine from your point, I actually watched your game. I think the first half, you were probably fortunate, in my opinion, to get the half-time 0-0. I thought City had the better chances. But then second half, I thought you actually were much, much better. And I thought you were making it more of a game that I thought you would anyway at Anfield. Despite your troubles this season for Arne Slot, it's a really tough place to go, Anfield. And when you went 1-0 up, I thought Arsenal fans would be cheering that just as much as Liverpool fans. But then we obviously know what happened in the last 15 minutes or so.
Oh, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy into the game. I agree with you. I was surprised to go in at halftime 0-0. We had no shots on target in the first half. So I think when you look at what we've been doing recently is really, really disappointing to say the very, very least. But no, Szoboszlai, I mean, just doesn't keep. He honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a player score as many free kicks as he has this season. I know obviously we had in the past, obviously, David Beckham scoring free kicks after one another. But
Szoboszlai is good though, isn't he? From set pieces and free kicks. I think he scored one against Arsenal as well at Anfield at the start of the season, didn't he? So it just goes to prove that regularly he can hit them well enough. So if you do get a free kick, I'm at least relieved he's not going to be taking them. Put it that way.
Yeah, he's. I mean, as if you thought his one against Arsenal was good, this one I think is even better. The fact that it's
I agree.
basically against Donnarumma as well, and the fact it's gone on in off the post as well, was superb. But we just lost our way after we scored. And that's kind of been the sort of the story of our season. We've been kind of trying to sit back after we go ahead, and it just doesn't work. And we allowed City back into the game. Obviously, Bernardo Silva scores a very, very good goal. And unfortunately, the penalty decision, I've no complaints about it because Alisson cleans out Nunes, Haaland gets the penalty. That's his first ever goal for City at Anfield. And then, yeah, the third goal. I just want a bit of common sense here. So Turkey has scored from about 45 yards out. I understand that Szoboszlai has made a foul on Haaland. I understand then that Holland's obviously made a foul on Szoboszlai. What I don't understand is the fact that VAR had to get involved. Just give the goal. Like, this is the thing I say. People will say rules are rules, etc. I get why Szoboszlai's been sent off, but VAR didn't have to get involved there. Even Holland said, "Why are you sending Szoboszlai off?" Because one, it didn't affect the result. Two, City have obviously gone away to Anfield and won, which I think is a real statement result now because I think psychologically they've now got a bit of an advantage over Arsenal because the fact that Arsenal didn't win at Anfield and City have, that's 3 more extra points as well. But honestly, I just think this whole thing about having to basically send the player off and not give the goal, even give a free kick, as well. I honestly think common sense should prevail there. But obviously, we're now without arguably our best player this season. Szoboszlai has been our best player this season. There's no denying that. So the fact that we're without him makes me a little nervy for Wednesday.
I'll take that as a good thing from our perspective. I think for me, yeah, I mean, look, obviously I guess time will tell how Wednesday's game pans out. But if, say, Sunderland were to get something, or even if well, from your perspective, probably heaven forbid beat yous, then you're thinking, well, you can point back to that Szoboszlai sending off because that could impact you. I mean, it might not, we don't know, but it could impact you for this game. From a selfish perspective, I hope it does, but of course you'll be hoping the opposite way around, as naturally expected. Let's quickly go for some more comments here. What's Paul Speck saying? If we can get Europe, Richard, why would he not come to Sunderland? He's not 28. He's not going to a top 6 club. This is Harry Wilson we're talking about here. Yeah, personally, I wouldn't have minded if we'd gone for him in January, actually, because I thought Fulham might have wanted to get a bit of money. But there you have it. Wilson's agent getting max value for his new contract. Do we think Geertruida will start on Wednesday? Yeah, we will mention that because obviously that was a bit of a little mini saga in itself towards the end of the January window. So, which is quite mental actually when you stop and think about it. Here's one from Mr. Bob Jingles. Question for Douglas: why is Virgil van Dijk gone from warrior to whinger?
That's a very good question. I just think he's under the most pressure. Obviously being the captain and all, he's had his critics this season, and rightly so. I don't think him and Kanati were that bad yesterday. It was just I thought we defended well. It was just the last sort of 20 minutes, everything flew by in that game. But then again, before that before we obviously did go ahead, Ekiteke misses a really good chance to score. So, but your question about VVD, I think he's doing too much talking to the press. You saw him again. You saw him when he spoke to Gary Neville. He was obviously coming out about like pundits and ex-players, and being pundits as well. I do think there's words or speak louder than action. I would say. I think he needs to do his talking on the pitch and not off it. He's done a lot of that off the pitch, but still been a very, very good servant for us. There's no denying that, but it's just very, very disappointing when he comes out and says these kind of things. And the other thing as well, he's definitely not the Virgil van Dijk of old. Well, let's say that. He's definitely not the Virgil van Dijk of old. I think his legs are starting to give way, I think, but he is nearly 34 years old. So it's a real tricky one. real tricky one to say. But I don't know why he keeps speaking to the press. I think he's doing too much of that to the press, and I think he just needs to do his action on the pitch rather than speak off it.
Yeah. I think for me, it's more like sometimes you can talk the talk but not walk the walk as much, really. And obviously, I'm
Mm,
not saying Van Dijk's crap or anything because he obviously isn't. But yeah, I
yeah,
think your big mistake for me, and I can imagine you, and I think you said in the group chat that we were in on the Championship panel one that you were fuming in January when Gahey went to Man City. And I can imagine you would probably have every right to be because when you, what was it for 20 million quid? I mean, even with
yeah,
add-ons, even if it rises to like 30 or something, for a player, for a centre back of his quality, you get ahead of the opposition and you sign him, you tie him down, you sign him. Now, for me, Liverpool missed a massive trick there in not going for Gahey, in my opinion.
yeah, 100%. And then they wait until the end of the window to get that Jackie from Rennes, who's now injured because he's injured his shoulder. So it's just I don't I don't know why we didn't buy anyone in January. The Geertruida thing, like I said to you, I doubt if anything happens, and obviously that happened. So yeah, look, it's just been a mess from us, really. It's been a complete and utter mess, and I kind of want to see the back of this season already. Um, because worryingly, if you guys actually win, you go level on points with us.
I literally had to pause there and sort of take that in, considering we had to go up through the playoffs last season, which is utterly mental. But yeah, I think if you're looking at it, yeah, I think obviously for Liverpool, of course, this. I'll quickly before we move on to the other stuff. We'll talk about Arne Slot for a minute. Now, I remember that obviously going into the reverse game, he was under quite considerable pressure.
Yeah,
I can imagine the pressure hasn't eased. If it has, it's not very much, if at all. Do you get the sense that after this season, or I'll rephrase that, do you think Slot will get the rest of this season? And if he does, will he be here at the start of next?
I I would say if we go out of the Champions League and out of the FA Cup, I think he's gone. Because I think the Champions League is obviously the saving grace of this season to end it. FA Cup, that could be a bonus as well. Um, I think if we don't get Champions League, I think he's gone. I do think he could be gone. Now I obviously don't want him to go because I'm always one of these people that doesn't call for the manager's head or anything like that. But I understand it from both sides, where the form hasn't been great. 6 wins in 20 in our last 20 Premier League games is not great at all. That's been
Hmm.
since September as well. Um,
Have
I
we won
said
the
that
same? Have we won the same amount of games that as you in those 20 odd games?
I
Sure,
would
about
say
stats.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Um,
What date does this start from?
start of
Six.
September.
Start of September. Okay, okay, go on. I'll be able to try and figure it out. Hang on. So yeah, go on. You carry on. I'm just trying to figure out how many wins we've had since then.
Yeah. As I was saying as well, I do think that you look at what Slot did last season, coming to okay, it wasn't exactly his team. It was still Jurgen's team. He's tried to change it a wee bit, get his own players in. Hasn't quite worked out. Um, but the form has been really, really poor. As simple as that. And you know, I said at the back then, against Carabag and Newcastle, I said that have we turned a corner? Wait until the Man City Sunderland games, and then I'll say if we've turned a corner or not. Now, Newcastle went 1-0 down. And Newcastle were probably playing their better football.
They were all over you the
Than us.
first half an hour, I thought, until
They
they
were,
scored.
yeah, there they were. And then Ekateke gets a double as well, and then Verts, and then yeah, it's not been great. It's not been great at all. We had I think an unbeaten run of like a 12, 13 games, but then I said back then it was an uninspiring because it was draws, it was a couple of wins in there, and obviously we lost to Bournemouth as well. And then, and then what would happen as well is you would look at the form back then, and it's been very very poor. Um, I think as well, the form since the start of last year hasn't been great. And there is an argument that he has probably got probably a worse or it's kind of nearing the record Hodgson had when he was in charge of Liverpool. So that's really, really concerning as well. This has just been an utter shit show of a season. Simple as that.
You could just let on that first bit. It's just been an utter shit show of a season. The end. Nothing else
Yeah.
more needed to be added on that. Thane says, obviously it was great for Liverpool last season, and I was happy for them. But did they not win it purely because City and Arsenal didn't want it last season? Or even
Uh,
if they didn't want it, were they just less competent? I guess is the best way. Because Arsenal kind of got through the phase of constantly getting second, but not quite having enough, and then City weren't at their best last season by any means.
City weren't the best last season. Arsenal were the proverbial bridesmaids, if you know what I mean. Um,
That's actually a really good analogy. I like that.
but I think it's kind of gone stale under Pep with City. Obviously, you look at I mean. City went on a massive run of, I think it was 9 defeats in a row or something like that. Excuse me. Um, Arsenal Arsenal had a very good team last season, but they still didn't get over the line. I've always said it. My personal preference with Arsenal is Arteta. Can he get it over the line? Can he get a league title over the line? Now, that win yesterday for City, psychologically, that's going to play in the players' minds. That is going to get in the players' minds. Yes, it was 86 we won it last season.
Okay.
So they they could easily go to 90 plus points this season, but psychologically, what that will do, it'll play into the players' minds. City play before Arsenal as well, so that the gap could be about 3. Arsenal go to a Brentford side who are really tough to beat at home. I think it's only Forest and City that have beaten Brentford away at the GTEC.
Yeah.
So, so I look at that and I say, last season we took advantage of a very, very poor league, and I will admit that the standard standard of teams last season wasn't great. This season it's been very, very competitive, and we've had a few stories this season. We've had obviously Sunderland being, I think, the story of the season so far. You could kind of argue Brentford have been kind of a story of the
No, I think
season
you've
because
got to put them in there, considering I was one of the fools that tipped them to go down at the start of the season. I said Sunderland and Brentford would both be bottom 4, and we're both top half.
me too. And I said it. I said it to you then. I had my doubts of if Keith Andrews would survive or not. So it's a very competitive league this season, but it's really, really going to be a. I still think the title race is going to be going down to May. Do I think Arsenal and City will win their remaining games? No. There's definitely going to be drop points somewhere.
They
The
play
two
each
of
other
them
at the Etihad as well, don't they, in April?
mid-April. So I still say this now. I still don't think it's over. Far from it. City know how to win leagues. Arsenal don't. I could come down to that.
Absolutely, we will see. It's going to be. It should be. I think yesterday's result kind of threw the title race a bit. Well, say throw it open. That's a bit wrong, but like it sort of kept it alive. Really, I think if you had beaten City, look, mathematically it wouldn't have been over, but 9 points is like that would have been a really sort of big stretch for Man City to try and overturn. Whereas obviously because of the win yesterday, 6 points with them to play each other, you just never know. Right, let's get on to the Geertruida stuff. Because obviously that was a interesting saga. So for those who'd lived on, well, so obviously those who are in chat will be mainly Sunderland fans, but basically who lived under a rock, if you don't somehow know, basically there was the report that Geertruida apparently had been I think was it approached by Slot, because obviously they know each other from their Feyenoord days, I believe. So there was
Yeah.
prospect of Geertruida going to Liverpool when you had basically an injury crisis at right back, I think it was. Um, there is a trying to think the right way to word this. So obviously there was a bit of hoo-ha about whether they could cancel his loan from Leipzig to Sunderland, cancel that, and then Liverpool would take over the loan, but Sunderland, of course, would have to agree to it, and obviously we wouldn't agree to it. In my opinion, correctly, wouldn't agree to it unless we found a replacement. Obviously, we mustn't have found a replacement because obviously the deal didn't end up happening. So yeah, we had a bit of a conversation back and forth around all this. Now, my own opinion is I think that Geertruida has been. I am baffled as to how he didn't play at Arsenal. If I'm honest, I know we beat Burnley 3-0, but with all due respect, one, Burnley are cack, and two, Burnley at home and Arsenal away are two completely, utterly different games. They're two completely different circumstances.
Yeah.
Now, I'd find it interesting if Geertruida did play on Wednesday, considering that obviously the whole story about the transfer saga, but obviously Geertruida stayed at Sunderland. And actually, I'll quickly bring up Thane's comment here. Geertruida is my mate. I think he's joking here, but yeah, Geertruida is my mate. So I was happy he stayed, but I'm not happy about him not starting more games, especially during Xhaka's absence. Yeah, that's the thing for me. If Xhaka's fit, he's not going to get ahead of Granit Xhaka. But I feel like when Xhaka hasn't been fit the last couple of weeks, it has baffled me how he hasn't played more. I got it against Burnley because that was a game Sunderland are expected to dominate, with all due respect, and it's a game that, if we're competent, we should be winning. Obviously, there's no God-given right to win any game, but if we were competent, we should be beating Burnley at home. And we were going to be on the front foot more or less anyway. Arsenal, I was a bit baffled he didn't play, and do I expect him to play on Wednesday? Well, probably. I don't think he'll start. Put it that way, unless Reed just likes to throw a spanner in the works. But did you ever feel like would you have had Geertruida at Liverpool? And did you ever think it was? Well, you said you didn't think it was happening, but did you think there was a chance? Was there a sliver of you that thought it was going to happen towards the back end of the window?
I stand by what I said earlier. I didn't think it was going to happen. The fact that they left it to the end of the window again is really disappointing. Too complicated for me. Would I have taken Geertruida Liverpool? Absolutely. Obviously Slot knows Geertruida knows Slot. But I wouldn't have seen it happening. Obviously, you had to cancel your loan with Leipzig. Leipzig had to sort of start another loan. It was really too complex for deadline day. Really, really too complex. So, not surprised it didn't happen. Could it be something to revisit in the summer? Potentially, it could be. But we had another couple of players that were on our shortlist. Denzel Dumfries was another one, which didn't really make sense to me.
Well, for me, I think the Geertruida thing is a fascinating one because we've got an option in the loan deal to make it permanent. Now, obviously, I'd be very disappointed if Sunderland didn't activate that, but at the same time, Geertruida's got to agree to it. Obviously, so if he doesn't agree to it, then there's obviously no point in it. For me, he covers a few positions with really good quality: right back, centre back, defensive midfielder. I think in midfield is his best position, if I'm honest. But I think for me, I think it was something like 23. I think it was something like 23 million euros. I believe the fee was rumoured to be. Now that would be roughly what 21 million quid. I think Sunderland would be absolutely insane not to activate that. But in order to do that, he needs to start starting games, and therefore, for me, it looks like we could be without Xhaka for the rest of February. So if he doesn't start any games in the next few, then I'm wondering, well, what's the point in him even being here? But yeah, if he doesn't come to us, then certainly if Slot is still at Liverpool, then there's no reason. I think you'd be silly not to look at Geertruida because I think he is a good quality player, even if he's not going to start for Liverpool. Because obviously, starting for Sunderland and starting for Liverpool are two completely different things. But if he is gonna be a really handy squad player for Liverpool, and especially if he knows Slot, of course you're going to go to Liverpool, aren't you? So I don't know. We'll have to see and revisit that in the summer, of course. Let's quickly get another couple of comments. Thane says, and I'd love Hume. I'm a big fan of Trey ever since we signed him, but I'm sick of him playing out of position. Full-back or bench, simple as that. Yeah, we seem to have this thing where he plays in midfield or right wing at the moment. Probably because I wish we had Adama Traore. Bertrand Traore is out. Wooden Scott Geertruida is too defensive for me. Good player, though, used for defence. I think in these type of games, Richard, I think he would be quite handy, to be honest, because I think Liverpool, you expect to have a lot of the ball. Wayne says Sunderland win. Well, Doug will hope not, but I hope so. We'll not keep Geertruida with the lack of game time, says Thane. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Let's get to the reverse fixture, because as you guys know, for those who did watch that day, and we did get a pretty good response actually from that, we did do a stream before the reverse game in December at Anfield. I do remember there was one comment on social media that was going, "It's effing Sunderland at Anfield," which even you agreed. I think was a comment that was really uncalled for, really, but not from Doug, by the way. Doug's been utterly class, but like I think a lot maybe did put it this way: did Sunderland take you back by how good we were that night? Because for all yous were poor, and I thought yous were. I think both can be true. You guys underwhelmed, but I thought we deserved. But personally, for me, I thought the least we deserved was a point, and arguably deserved the win. But you tell me if you disagree with me.
No, I don't disagree at all. I think Sunderland were well worthy of a point that night. Maybe should have got all three. Talby's had his goals this season, isn't he? He doesn't score simple goals, does he?
No, well, obviously the one against you guys was a deflection, but yeah, if you see the one against Burnley, it's like he either scores screamers or scores crucial late ones. Obviously, he got the winner against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, but yeah, I think obviously I mean, I was happy enough with a point. Oh, going into the game, I said to you when we did the preview for the Anfield game that for me a point is a good result. Any avoidance of defeat is a good result. But what I was impressed by was how it was weird that I was coming away from Anfield disappointed not to have won. And I know we haven't won. I think you
Yeah,
sent me a stat. What was it like in 1986 or something or whatever it was? The last time Sunderland actually won at Anfield. And obviously you had that chance at the end, the one-on-one when Roofs kicks it and Wilson Isidore has the one-on-one. And I'm sort of going, go on, go on, go on. Oh, of course he doesn't score it. But look, for me, I thought that was kind of really. I mean, I thought we would stay up anyway, but that was the game where it really solidified for me, thinking, yeah, we belong here. We're going to be more than all right. But yeah, I think for me, I think for me, we were very good that night.
yeah. I thought you played really well that night. You came with a game plan, you stuck to it, worked to a T, and we couldn't break you down. We just could not break you down. Obviously, we thought Verts got his first goal that night, but obviously he didn't. Went
I
down as
will
a
say the skill he showed for that in the build-up is why you paid 100 odd million for him. Mind, he's a
yeah,
really good player. Words.
yeah, yeah. He's been on fire recently, so no, look, said it all season. I think Sunderland have been fantastic. I know you've said it's always been about the 40 points total. But
Yep, and a part of me still thinks that, even though we're only 4 points off it.
you're so close to that now. Once you get that, it's basically finish
Well,
as
I
high
can't
as
go on about it
possible.
anymore. I can just go, oh, well, what's the rest of the season going to be? We've already got 40 points. I can't keep obsessing over it.
Well, you win against us, as I said. You go to 1 point off it. So, um, I expect a tough game tomorrow. You guys are the only unbeaten side in the league. There's a reason for that. Your home form has been impeccable. It's been really, really good. Some games where I've kind of watched and maybe you were like, okay, you maybe got away with one. I think the only one really I can see you got away with was probably Villa at home. Apart from that, I would say your home form is really really good. Um, Arsenal home 2-2. You drew with City. Um,
Even the
even
Villa draw you mentioned was with 10 men for an hour.
yeah, Ronaldo was it?
Yeah. I love Ronaldo, but he has that moments of idiocy in him. So I think he was quite relieved we probably did get something. But the fact that we're talking about, and we said this before, that I think Sunderland are the only unbeaten home team now. For me, touch wood, that continues. So announce Sunderland 0, Liverpool 3 or something on Wednesday night. But, here's one then. Do you think we will go the whole season unbeaten at home? My opinion is we won't. I think we will lose at least 1 or 2 home games. And I'd be very surprised. I think our remaining home games in the Prem are you guys, Fulham, who's the one after that? Brighton, Spurs, Forest, Manchester United, and Chelsea. I think it'd be very tough to go through every single one of them 7 without losing any of them, personally. I hope we do, but I don't think we will.
Um, I think the only one you could probably lose is maybe United or Chelsea, because those two seem to be ever since Rosinha's gone in there at Chelsea, ever since Carrick's gone at United, they two look really really good, which
Me
which
too,
annoys
theme,
me.
by the way. Me too. Keep looking at West Ham rather than others. Yeah, I know
so
what you mean. Yeah, go on.
so I think there's no beyond the realms of impossibility that you could potentially go unbeaten. Whether you do or not is another matter, but still been a very, very good home record this season.
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of why when United beat Arsenal, I was buzzing because I thought, oh, actually, go on then. We're the last Prem team, and even though even if we do lose it, we're the last team to lose at home in the Premier League. Now, I just want Bromley to lose a home game before us, so that we're the last team in the whole of England. So yeah, it probably makes. I mean, it really doesn't win you anything, but it's just quite. I just take quite pride in that. We played the three best teams at home. So of course, if you want to you want to try and win your home games. Wayne says no Champions League. Now I'm guessing Wayne might be a Liverpool fan. I'm assuming he must be. But it says no Champions League football. Please tell me, Wayne, if you support Liverpool or Sunderland, or if neither one, if you support somebody else. No Champions League football for us next season. It's an impossible task now. Let's have a look. David Cook says Sunderland have gone a bit flat when playing the teams above them. I'm not sure that's fair. I think generally we've actually done all right. I think, obviously, if you're looking at our game against Arsenal, I mean, I actually didn't think the score was fair. I think Arsenal definitely deserved to win, but I felt like 3-0 was quite flat, and I thought Sunderland played quite well from what I did see of it. But that's the thing. Arsenal, best team in the league at the moment, or at the very least, you're joint best with Man City, even though the gap's 6 points. So the good thing is, out of the traditional big six, we've played all of them away from home. We've played all of them away from home now. Now, I think our remaining, obviously, the one thing that does not concern me, but it's something that I think we do need to be aware of, is our away form hasn't been great. But then I think, well, for a promoted side, it's actually not been that bad. I think for me, I looked this up and I was speaking to Carl on the Championship Review on his channel last night, or both of your channels, I should say, last night, and we were talking about the amount of away wins promoted sides have had over the last 2 seasons. The most of them, I think Burnley had 3 the year they had company and went down, and then last year Ipswich had 3. But then I think Southampton and Sheffield United both had 1, and Ipswich and it might be Ipswich who had 3. Ignore me. Right, hang on. Let me quickly double check about this because I want to make sure that I've definitely got this. I definitely want to make sure that I've got this right. Where is it? Bear with me. Oh yeah, here we go. So Luton. So in the 23-24 season, Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United got relegated. Luton won away from home twice, Burnley 3 times, and Sheffield United once. Last season, Leicester won twice away from home, Ipswich 3 times, Southampton once. So it makes me feel like we're not really doing that bad. And actually, if you bear in mind that our home form is pretty much what's kept us up, I think. I hope I'm not jinxing fate and we're going to start going lose, and then we're going to be in a battle down the bottom. But I suspect we probably won't be. But I'll ask you this, right, from my perspective, right? Once we get to 40 points, because I'm with you, I think we will get there at some point. If we can get to 40 points by the end of this month, then I think that's reasonably achievable. Because I think we've got you guys in the league. Obviously, we've got Oxford in the cup, which we really need to be looking to win if we want to get a good cup run.
Yeah.
But there's you guys, there's Fulham at home, and then there's Bournemouth away. I think if we get 4 or 5 points from these 3, I think it's a pretty solid return. If we do get to 40 points quick enough, what would you say the sky's the limit is for Sunderland this season? Because you've asked me the question before about Europe. I've been the one that's been quite quick to shoot it down. But if it is going to be Europe, I suspect it will probably be Conference League. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll be buzzing with Conference League, especially apparently because Arsenal, Man City play each other in the Carabao Cup final. So apparently because they're both going to be top 2, that means a European spot goes to another place lower in the Premier League. I think that's how it works. So if that does happen, and especially who gets the FA Cup final, there is the possibility that 8th could get you Europe this season. Now, I think personally for me, I'd be buzzing with top half. Straight away, I'd be absolutely buzzing with top 10. Do I think we get Europe? No. I don't think. I think we need to win a fair few away from home, I think, in order to do that. Or we need to be absolutely exceptional at home and get a few draws away. But I don't know what you think. Where can you see Sunderland finishing? Well, actually, both teams, but we'll start with Sunderland.
Well, as long as you don't finish above us, that's the main thing.
I doubt that'll happen, to be honest. But it'd be funny if it did, from my point of view.
Secondly, I think it'd be absolutely hilarious if you finished above the Mags. I think that'd be absolutely hilarious.
Guys, we've got Doug. No, wrong way. We've got Doug converted. He doesn't like Newcastle. That's all right. I must admit, I was buzzing that you've done the double. Even if you beat us, we can say, well, at least we took something off you. They haven't.
Yeah, exactly. Top half would be a successful first season.
Very successful. I'd say it's outstanding, to be honest.
Because I think people had like.
Come on, Notts County when they play Bromley, as long as we don't lose on Wednesday.
People had you like 17th, maybe going down.
To be fair, my
But
prediction was to be 17th.
I did as well. But then I think I changed it after that. But no, you've been a breath of fresh air, and I think because of that, the team togetherness as well. Goalkeeper, absolutely. I think he's been one of the best keepers in the league this season. Roofs, I think he's been really, really good. I like Ballard. I like Mukiele as well. And the forward players you've got have been very, very good. If you have a good League Cup run, then maybe it might affect your league form. I don't think it will. Um, I would say top half, and as long as they keep on losing, finish above the mags as soon as possible.
Well, funny enough, we'll just put this on from Paul Spector. Brentford won't finish above us. I'm not so sure. Brentford are looking really good at the minute. And actually, I think that Brentford they've been one of the teams that's impressed me the most in recent weeks. Mags are shite. Well, hopefully they continue to be. Seventh is on the card. It's realistic. Well, this is the thing, because you and Brentford are on the same amount of points. So obviously, and you are right, if we do beat yous, then we're on the same amount of points as you. And then obviously Brentford, you would imagine, would lose to, well, I hope they lose to Arsenal just so we can try and catch them. But yes, so who knows? Seventh could be very realistic. We'll wait and see. Wayne said, Wayne said he's a massive Liverpool fan. Sunderland are a great side. Well, he thinks we'll win on Wednesday, but I suspect that might be the aftermath of losing yesterday. We'll wait and see. If we can improve away form, yes, we'll wait and see. Acacia, a good friend of mine. What a goal that was yesterday for Liverpool to go 1-0 up, though. Seriously, he's an absolute insane play for free kicks. So it's like, yeah, from a selfish point of view, I'm not going to lie, when I did watch the end of that game, I was going, right, can he selfishly, can you get him sent off just so he's not playing against us? So it's one less player to worry about. It actually quickly, with Soboslai being sent off, is it a 1 game ban or is it a 3 game ban?
1 game ban.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine. He can come back against whoever you're playing afterwards. I don't care. I fancy Sunderland for the FA Cup. Now, I think that's the Sunderland heart in you talking, Jim. I'd be very surprised if we did. But hey, you know what? If we finished even like 15th and won the FA Cup, I'd be buzzing. Dane says, I think Brentford will, and the reason being is they've got a striker on fire and their away form has improved. They're a good side, Brentford. Hey, excuse me. Don't you dare diss Brian Brobby. Seriously though, Brian Brobby's actually been a menace in recent weeks, and he's really once you start adapting to the Premier League, he's actually started to look really, really good. My only worry is if the Mags sack Howe and their new manager bounce. I suspect that if Howe does go, I suspect if he does go, it'll be at the end of the season. I don't think that they will get rid of him now, or at the very least, I don't think it'll be until around the time they play us, because they're still in the Champions League, they're still in the FA Cup, but obviously we'll wait and see. Wayne says he has got a terrible cold, just got over all of that. Yeah, well, thankfully Doug can't pass it to you through a stream. Thank God for that. SFC Louis says, let's win the FA Cup and get top 4. Aye, I hope so. Well, I doubt it's going to happen for some reason. How many points are we off 4? Yeah, we're 8 points off 4. I think that's quite unlikely given Man United's form at the moment. There's always an underdog in the FA semi-final of an FA Cup. That could be us. Well, this is the good thing. Because we've done so well in the Prem now, it means effectively that we can target the FA Cup and have a good run of it. But we shall see. Right, anyway, so let's move on to this game. So, how are you viewing Sunderland away now? How are you viewing it in terms of like just for your season? How difficult you think it's going to be? I suspect if you're wanting to get top 4, top 5, this is a game you absolutely ideally need to win, but at least get something from. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'll be the first person to say this. I don't think we're going to win the game. I don't see us winning. I think the most we can get out of is a point. I think not having Soboslai as well is a big loss. And yeah, I think you're going to give us a really good game on Wednesday. You know, I keep saying it, Stadium of Light's a really tough place to go to. We've seen teams go there and be on the back of heavy defeats. Obviously, West Ham, Burnley aside. Yeah, I view it as one of our hardest away games this season.
I think for me, and we'll not tease our score predictions just yet, but I have a feeling I don't think we'll win, but I wouldn't bet against us. I think we might get something out of it. I think I can see us maybe getting a draw, and I think on the surface, I think a draw is a good result for both teams on isolation. But of course, obviously, before you play us, Chelsea, who are the team that are just above you, play Leeds at home.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Leeds go to Chelsea and win, I suppose, then a draw would probably be all right. But I think, and don't get me wrong, I still think this is going to be a hard game. I think the only way I can see us beating you is if we stop you scoring. And that's quite difficult to do, considering that if you look at, I know it was at Anfield, but Newcastle outplayed you the first 30 minutes. Anthony Gordon, of course, and I don't like him. I think he's a prick. But he ended up scoring, and then afterwards it was like bang bang, Ekatike twice, and all of a sudden you're 2-1 up, and I'm just going, oh my god. So even when you're not at your best, that's the level of ability that you should have, where you can you can turn a game very very quickly. So I think it is going to be hard. I'd like to think we will give it a good go. Would I be surprised if you beat us? No, I wouldn't. I think you've got the players to beat us, but equally, I think we've got the players to take something out of it. So we shall wait and see. Where is it? There's talks about Granit Xhaka. Are Traore and Xhaka back for Oxford? Traore might be, but I don't think Granit Xhaka is. I love this. I like Wayne. I'm liking him more and more and more. Sunderland are playing better than Newcastle. All right, here's one then. Do you think we finish above Newcastle? For me, a lot of that depends on if Eddie Howe stays the whole year, I think.
I think based on current form, yes, I would see you go finishing above them. But part of me thinks Howe's going to go at some point.
Yeah. That's what I'd reckon is. Wayne, you can come back every single stream, my friend. But yeah, I think because I watched them against, it was Brentford, I think, that they played. And obviously Brentford aren't notorious for their best away form, are they? But to be fair to them, they've just won away at Villa and won away at Newcastle, which is two of the hardest games in theory that you'll have. So I think with Newcastle, the problem that I think one of the problems Newcastle have for me is in goal. I don't think Nick Pope is up to standard for where they want to be. I don't think Aaron Ramsdale is either. I think they need to be going out and signing someone who's, for me, they missed it. Their big trick was not getting James Trafford over the line in the summer. I think James Trafford would have been a really, really good signing for them. Do I like James Trafford I've got a vendetta against Trafford after the 2 penalty saves from Wilson Isidore. But other than that, he's a really good keeper. So in order for that to happen, I think, can we finish above the Mags? Possibly. I think a lot of it also depends how far do they go in the Champions League. I'd imagine they'll get past Karabag over 2 legs. I think they probably will. But obviously the first leg is away, isn't it? And that's a long distance travelling wise. So yes, we'll see. Right, for you guys, so for the rest of this season then, is the aim, I imagine the aim now has to be make sure you're in the Champions League at the very least for next season. And I would imagine try and give the FA Cup a good run, as in to try and win it.
Yeah, 100%. Champions League, we've got to go as deep as that as we can. League form, we need to improve it, but we need Champions League football. Simple as that. And then FA Cup, try and get a wee FA Cup run. But we've got Brighton next week. That's not going to be an easy game at all.
Well, we will start to think about, let's see, Trafford was outstanding against the Mags in the Cup. Yeah, actually, to be fair, it was. That was all right. If Villa could knock them out next weekend, that would be lovely. Because I don't like the idea of them trying to win, and seeing them win a trophy once was bad enough. I now actually have a feeling of how Everton fans must feel watching you. But obviously, I think the difference is you're an elite-sized club, whereas if you're Everton fan watching Liverpool win a trophy, you're going, oh, for God's sake. So, whereas for me, seeing Newcastle do it once was bad enough, and that was another thing. I think I said to you in the last stream that I just about got over you losing to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final when you signed Isak from them. But of course, Isak's now injured for the rest of the season, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe he's back mid-April. I think they were saying mid-April. But we don't want to rush it. We don't want to rush him back.
No, absolutely not. I mean, as long as Ekatike is fit and scoring, then I think there's no real need to rush him back. So let's start to move towards the end of the stream. And thanks to everyone who has watched. And I'll give a shout out to Kimmy, who's the special stalker of mine. She loves to watch me content. So thanks ever so much for watching. And thanks to everyone who has watched. So let's get your score predictions in the comments. The last thing I'll talk about before we really get into the score predictions of the game is, what do you reckon just a general Premier League one? What do you reckon for who's going to win the league, who's going to get Champions League, and who's going to go down?
I still see City winning the league.
A lot of it for me depends on that game against Arsenal that he had. Completely dependent on what the situation is like until that point.
Champions League.
You don't have to say Sunderland. You don't have to say Sunderland just because I'm here. It's fine.
Aston Villa are losing it a wee bit. I think starting to sort of go down. Like they're starting to drop points there from really strange games like Brentford at home, Everton at home. Lost both of those. City, City, Arsenal, United, Chelsea. They're obviously five get Champions League now. I want to say us, but at the moment in time, I can't see it. I can't see it at all. Going down, Wolves and Burnley, both
I
of
was
them
going
are
to say that's
gone.
the easy one, isn't it? That last one for me with the relegation scraps quite difficult. I think Leeds have done exceptionally since that.
Yeah,
Since I think it was start of December, they've been brilliant, and they drew against you lot twice, didn't they? So I think it's for me for Leeds, and I've said this to Carl last night. The only worry I've got for Leeds is if they get a couple of big injuries. Because I think
yeah.
Forest and West Ham, Forest and Liverpool, Jesus Christ, you'd never be in a relegation battle. No, Forest and West Ham have the squad depth to be able to deal with it a bit better. But then I'm looking at, so I still think part of me thinks it's going to be one of Leeds or West Ham. I don't know what it. Maybe it's the Dyche thing clouding my judgment of Forest, but I struggle to see Dyche taking Forest down. Um,
Mm.
but on
I
the other,
I I said I said last week on the 20. I have a feeling it will be between West Ham and Nottingham Forest to go down.
yeah, I can see why you say that. I think, but then again, despite what I've just said about Forest, they have the hardest running, I think, fixture wise for the rest of the season. Whereas West Ham and Leeds don't actually look that bad. Bone Jingle, Sunderland 5-0 win, then we get sixth. Aye, we'll see. Jimmy Folks says, afternoon, folks. He says, I would love to see Dyche and Forest go down. I like Forest. I wouldn't mind if they stayed up, me. But I think I don't know. West Ham are finally starting to show a bit of improvement under Nuno. So I think we'll win. So I think it's like 3 wins in the last 4, and they were unlucky not to get anything against Chelsea. But we'll see. Right, let's move on to, well, my pick would probably be, who to win the league? It's going to be tough. The best time to answer this would be after they've played each other. No, I forced you to answer, so I'll pick an answer. I still think it might be Arsenal. I still have a good feeling they might actually get over the line this time. But if they don't win it this season, then I think they'll start to wonder when are they ever going to win the Premier League again. Champions League, I think it will probably still be. I think it's going to be the top 5 as it is. Sorry, Doug. I think it's going to be the top 5 as it is. I think your form's going to have to. I think your form's going to have to really improve. And actually, while I'm at it, we have won more games than you. I think since the start of this, September. I do believe that we've won 7. I think it is. So yeah, just to make you more miserable. And then going down, Burnley, Wolves. One of Leeds or Forest. Screw it. I think West Ham might get out of
Will
it.
West Ham get out of it?
Yeah, I think so.
They are starting to pick up a bit of form, West Ham.
I will say, although we were poor against West Ham when we played them, they battered us the first 45 minutes or so. And I think and I've said before that I think West Ham's squad's good enough to stay up. But for Carl's sake, let's hope it's Forest. I suppose if you're going to look at it either way, and actually it would be quite good to see, from Carl's point of view, it'd be good to see Leeds stay up. Spurs going down, yeah. I don't see Spurs getting relegated, but it would be a very interesting one if they did. Imagine the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the Championship. Spurs, Tottenham versus Lincoln City in the league next season. Who would have thought? Yeah, exactly. That's a funny thought, isn't it? Right, score predictions for Wednesday. What are we feeling?
I've said already that I don't think we're going to win. I think it'll be 1-1, or if you do get a winner, it'll be a 2-1 Sunderland.
Okay. Suppose if I give a head, okay, I'll give a head and heart one again. I think my head says 1-1 or 2-1 Liverpool. I don't know why, but I would say probably 1-1, and I would take that right now. My heart, of course, is going to say that we're going to end up. My heart says we win every game, even if it's not totally realistic. I think my heart says we'll win 2-1. So Steve Hewitt says the same thing. He says 2-1 lads win. I think if Sunderland are okay, if we are genuinely talking about Sunderland staying in the European conversation, then it's a game we need to get something from. Then, if we're looking
Yeah.
at it in that lens, especially being at home, but we'll see. Boom Jingle says Spurs and West Ham. down their stadiums in the Championship. Let's just say, as long whether West Ham stay up and Millwall come up, or Millwall stay down and West Ham go down, I would love to see Millwall and West Ham in the same division, just so they play each other in the league. That would be really, really
Oh, that'd be
funny.
great. That would be great.
Just go to Millwall and start singing "I'm forever blowing bubbles," and then get your head completely kicked in. And there probably will be some saddos who are going to be nuts enough to do that. Right, just to quickly end it, guys. Has anyone got any questions for Doug while we've got him still here? We'll see if there's any comments that I have missed. I don't think there is, but we'll just see if there's anyone who can. But yeah, the only thing I suppose I will say is, no, I think a lot of Sunderland fans would have been pretty happy with Liverpool, considering that you obviously won at St James's Park in the 90th minute, and then you turned around to beat Newcastle 4-1 at Anfield. So I have to admit that did make my mood that day. So I was going, good lads, I knew I'd like Liverpool. 2 more years and Spurs will be playing Hartlepool United. Oh my God. That's a shout and a half, isn't it?
Wishful thinking, that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we will wait and see. Right, Jimmy Paddy, slot in or out? Well, you've kind of answered this already before, I think, but you can go ahead again if you want.
I never call for a manager to go, so I'm completely on the fence. But I understand both sides of it, of being slot in and slot out completely.
Okay. Well, obviously, Acacia says, what's your thoughts on Slot? Well, I'll follow that up with a question. If Slot doesn't get you Champions League, should he go in the summer?
Yes. With the amount of money he spent, I would say, yeah.
Okay. No, that's totally fair enough. And then Mr. Bojingles again says, who does he fear, Wilson or Brobby?
Yeah, Brobby's come into it recently. That goal he scored against Tottenham, man. I remember it very, very well. Half volley, back of the net, top bins. Wow. I like both. I like Wilson Isidore, and I do like Brobby. I think for this game though, Brobby, definitely. I would say Brobby.
And I've just got to say that Brobby's got some of the thickest thighs I've ever seen on a man in my life, and that sounds quite sexual, even when it's not meant that way. Yeah, I'm not going to explicit content. Right, guys, I think we will leave it there. Unless, Doug, you've got anything else you want to finish on?
No, absolutely not. Thank you for having me. Thank you to the chat for making me feel welcome as well. So, no,
likewise. Thanks very much for coming.
Appreciate you asking me to come back on.
No, thanks for coming back on. What's your thoughts on Mo Salah this season? As I saw, the free kick from yesterday on TV wasn't that great. Yeah, Salah's a weird one. I think is it getting to the point where Salah looks like he's kind of declining a little? Not still a good player, but declining compared to what he used to be.
Yeah, or the fact is the Slot's probably told him to be more of a winger, when I don't think he quite is this season.
Fair enough, more than fair enough. And yes, Doug, by the way, I forgot to mention, yes, because you asked me if I'm coming back up to Edinburgh at some point. We need to arrange something, because I believe in the group chat we're in on WhatsApp, I think Ant said he would be up for possibly coming up as well. Although I suspect he might be thinking that's because he doesn't want to watch Leicester City this season anymore. So we'll wait and see. Bojingles says all the best.
Both of you are more than welcome. Thank you, Mr. Bojingles, as well.
No, thanks very much. And no, it'd be lovely to come across and see you. We'll see. I wouldn't mind getting to. I think you said Livingston's your Scottish team, aren't they? Is that right?
Yeah. Maybe not this season though.
Yeah. Well, okay then. What about Livingston versus Hart? Are you against Carl? That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Well, believe it or not, that's in the start of April. So I don't know what your.
Well, listen, depending if we're in the FA Cup still or not. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. But no, it would be lovely to come up and see you both. And I think Stefan might have been on about meeting as well. So who knows? Maybe Reese as well. Get the whole crowd together. We shall see. But thanks to everyone who has watched. I think we'll end it there. And thanks again to Doug for coming on, for agreeing to come back on. And yeah, I would say I wish you luck on Wednesday, but again, like with the reverse fixture, that'd be a big fat lie. So, I wish you luck after this season, after Wednesday, unless we meet in the FA Cup. But yeah, fingers crossed you end up having a good end of the season, and we'll see what happens. And thanks to everyone who has watched. Like you said, if you're not subbed already, and of course you think I've earned it from you, then sub button, share button, comment respectfully, all the other stuff, like button. You all know the drill at this point. So yeah, I'll love yous and leave yous to get on with your Monday afternoon, as I have to head to work in a couple of hours, which is always very miserable, but we'll see. But I will be there on Wednesday. I suspect Doug, of course, will be watching the game from the Stadium of Light, so we shall see how it goes. But take care, everyone, and how are the lads? Stay safe, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in.